if you aren't someone who smiles very often, or if you're feeling down and your energy is low, to practice smiling, to just walk around smiling. And he even says that if you can't muster the energy to do that, to stand in the mirror and hold your hands up. And I've done it several times. You can't help but feel good. And now science is catching up with us, and science is showing that who knows how they do things like this and measure things like this. The brain is such an incredible thing. But they're showing that when you smile, certain synapses in your brain get fired that release whatever that hormone is that makes you happy. Dopamine, thank you. And it's just incredible, the way that we can look at that. So go home or just walk around and stand in the mirror, and to see, we can't even act into it, we can't help but laugh. I just had a beautiful opportunity to travel to Ananda, Australia, to serve in Ananda, Australia with a group of 7 people. Shayla was one of the friends that was with us, and a few others from Ananda. Oh, that's right. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. No, we did introduce myself. I put it out of my mind already. We're talking because we had a few talks that we were not giving we were giving to audiences that were not spiritually connected. It was actually very songs, music, and the one rule was we weren't allowed to mention the word God, which is very hard to do at Ananda because we were speaking at secular organizations, and we have great fun. We sing the spirit of laughter over and over again, which speaks about God but doesn't use the word God. And we were sitting in this, we were talking about the first day we went back to 6-day vacation, and the first day the energy was really tough. It was like sort of moving through molasses to try and get everybody to understand what we were talking about and to lighten up and to have sort of that joyful open-heartedness. And so we went home that night, and my friend and I were talking about things that we could do in order to lighten the energy. And I don't know if you have watched any of these videos on YouTube, but there's a fun game where you just start laughing. The whole room starts laughing with you. And so we were just playing around with it. And we're doing it kind of you can't help it. We were sitting at this table, a round table group of 7 people, because laughter is contagious, joy is contagious. This is the root of our soul. This is the expression of our soul. All of that else that's out there, all of the mud puddles that animals use, the ego tells us that's our power, and it tells us that's our experience. But why is joy and light and levity so intoxicating, so healing for us? It's because that's an echo of the soul's memory. That someone knows that you were made from joy. That's what God, Divine Mother, cosmic consciousness is. Sat Chit Ananda, ever present, ever existing, ever new joy. And it is infused into the essence of everything, every experience. We're willing to practice it. And just as Aaron so beautifully was sharing, if we're willing to shift our attitude. Yogananda said that next to satsang, attitude is part of the most important thing on spiritual path, meditation. Always. But satsang, community, being with other like-minded souls, right? With right attitude, we can always redirect. And that's what the secret of laughter, the secret of finding joy, and how to find happiness all the time really looks like. We just got because the world teaches us happiness is power, happiness is love, happiness is having everything work out the way you want it to be. Orange County, so I flew into Orange County and I've been staying with them, which is very close to Newport Beach in Orange County. There's a lot of wealth there. 100,000 come down, person after person after person, just getting into places. Not that that is wrong or bad in and of itself, but we're doing it. We have to look in a different direction, but it's hard to do because the world keeps saying, "Come on, look out here, look at the rain." It's watching into one of those YouTube spirals, which we can do, where you're just so evil, it just recommends all of these wonderful little videos for me. And I was watching it was first they did a group of adults, and they were asking the adults just person after person to change one thing about your body, what would you change? And oh, I wish my stomach were smaller, I wish I were taller, I wish I had more hair, I wish my eyes were so far apart, whatever it would be. And then they hand to a group, maybe 5, 6 year olds, and so if you could change one thing about your body, what would it be? And these little kids said, I would have wings so I could fly. I would have fins so that this was really fast in the body. And then all the innocence, it was just so sweet because it reminded me just the way the world teaches us something different. The world teaches us outside. What we have to do is turn our attention to the vision. So go back to where I started. There are 3 qualities that I want to speak to today. It's important to remember happiness is not a passive experience. So often that's how we think. And if we can just avoid those things that make us uncomfortable, that's not the case. What these great teachers and what the talk of yoga reminds us of, happiness is a that needs to be sought, that needs to be cultivated. It's nurtured through our meditation, through our practice of meditation. It's nurtured through affirmation, through marching on the stage saying, I am awake. These things that feel silly to us sometimes. But then you the root of it. Those are called the super conscious living exercises. That's greater consciousness. And if that practice, marching in place and saying out loud, wouldn't we just be doing it constantly? Wouldn't we just be walking around the world in that way? And show us that in essence we can't. We don't have to actually do it. Like into the world of more than that. But parents can always in that reality and in that attitude. And so there are 3 things that we can do to help us to cultivate that. The first one is calmness. Because calmness takes us out of all of that Bhagavad was speaking to, all of those emotions that get stirred up within us. Another story is many of you know the story of Lakshmi, but the angels and the demons that are battles are fighting one another in the ocean to try and wear up mortal elixir. And churning the ocean back and forth is born Lakshmi. All of that in the ocean, all of that Lakshmi represents prosperity and beauty. These are things that she's become known for. Because Lakshmi is that meditative state of calmness that's born. And what is prosperity if not calmness in the heart? And prosperity if not even-mindedness. That's what our Guru Yogananda says. Even-minded and cheerful. Because just to be even-minded and to be withdrawn is not cheerful, energetic, isn't that everything that we do. And so calmness is that first space where we begin to separate ourselves from. As I said, I grew up just up the road a little bit, and I played water polo all through high school. And as a water polo player, you don't get the joy when it's raining. So the only joy that you get in response to your coach who's pushing you and coach you near the water. And so one day I remember very reference, and it was pouring rain, and we were doing conditioning push to the very second by second. And so we were doing an exercise where we take out of the pool, go down, pick it up, sit for 30 seconds, go in the pool, back up. And so we were doing this for about 40 minutes, back and forth, up and out of the pool, And it was so tumultuous when we were on the surface of the water. You know, we had to coach rapid combat, and it was so tumultuous and chaotic when I was up there trying to do all these things that it was not cool and people out and you just silent. All the rain and the hail and the tumult was happening up above, but down so and peaceful. And there was calmness. And in that calmness, all of what I was doing, all of the work going back and forth, you know, athletic output that was making me tired just melted away. It was so quiet. It was so calm. And that's, of course, what we're trying to cultivate in our own hearts. That's what even to be Patanjali, sorry, I keep memorizing them. Patanjali, follower of yoga, because he gives us yoga is the neutralization of the vortices of feeling. And that's what even mindedness is. That's what calmness in essence is, to walk around, to cultivate that space, to be able to be mindful and present in every single moment. The second one that I wanted to explore with you, we're moving through them somewhat. The second one that I wanted to explore with you is because the sense of self-expansion is also necessary when we are practicing how to be happy all the time. Because in self-expansion, we begin to let go of ourselves. We begin to tune into our awareness. We begin to imagine how our littleness, our needs, our desires, and my friend Shirjo, who lives in the Mumbai Center along with his company, likes to tell a beautiful story. He says that imagine that you're walking through the airport and it's really busy and crowded, and one place to the next, a little disoriented, and you stop for a couple of minutes, you're standing in line for coffee, and suddenly here you are and you have your fresh cup of hot coffee right in front of you, and somebody comes and bumps into you and spills your coffee all over you. You're tired, you're anxious, you're confused. What's your reaction in that moment? Yes. Why can't you stay out of their way? Would you turn around? You see, they run into you. They're stumbling, they're trying themselves to navigate. And how quickly your attitude would shift in a moment like that. It's terrible because it reminds us of what I was speaking to at the very beginning. Not. We think that we just have to react to what's happening out there. But remember that your experience is just one tiny drop from the universe. And all around you, when we begin to work in harmony with all of those realities. I had this experience. I loved Australia. I could spend the next amazing experience. It's a culture and a place that Ananda who I got to meet there. One of the things I it's an entire country that's working in rhythm with the natural world. Every single day, it was late summer, and so these would just kind of roll. And who was our friend there, grew up in Australia. It's amazing. You can say that the storm will come at 3:30. Lo and behold, 3:30 would come around, and there was the storm, and everybody, and the whole country just stopped, quiet, and then come back out. And people were visiting the ocean every single morning. It's almost like they told us that as families would go take a dip in the ocean in the morning before they work every day. And I'm sharing all of this because it sounds beautiful and idyllic, but it also speaks to being in tune. And it was a society that is working in rhythm with something very different than work here, particularly in California, Los Angeles, where just a space and fun and place. What would it be like to relax out of that, to expand into the greater reality of goodness, the joy that happens from that? And of course, the final one is non-attachment, which is very similar to self-attachment, to not be attached. that we have that are ours, our life. And I love to do this practice of teaching how to live health and vitality, which is one of Yogananda's books. And we do an activity on the last day. You don't imagine in your experiencing that everything in life is loaned. Everything is good. Everything you have is borrowed. Your job and your house, your salary, but your loved ones, your own body, the health and wellness, the vitality of your body doesn't belong to you. It's not yours by you. Even if you work every single day, as Churches was saying, have right diet or exercise, it's not good. It's part of the divine. The divine will offer you whatever is needed to help you to grow, because that's to help you to expand and to grow into the best version of yourself that you can be. So we practice that kind of non-attachment when we can just begin to let go. There's a story in just a tradition that talks about a man, a highly who is sitting, spends his whole life meditating to try to receive these cities, these divine blessings and spiritual powers and deep powers. And then he's realizing from the divine that it's time for him to leave to his next incarnation. So he asks the divine, can I give these cities, these powers, to somebody that I didn't want? The divine says yes. And so he goes out and he sees a young yogi sitting on the basement. The person to pass on his spiritual inheritance. So there's all of these things. And he goes and he appears in front of this young yogi. He says, I'd like to pass my spiritual inheritance in the form of these gods. And the young yogi says, can I receive? He says, okay. The young yogi accepts them and he takes them and dumps them into the river. The saints saying, what are you doing? That is my life. The yogi appears as his guru, his divine, and says, still in delusion. What would it be like to just move to let go? To cultivate happiness from that, because so much of our discipline is overleading and lucky things. So I'd like to end. Aaron already shared, it was just beautiful. The way that us spoke to each other before we all had our talks. But I affirmation of happiness that Aaron already shared with us a little bit today. And the way we practice affirmations here is that we begin by saying that out loud with a strong voice to awaken our own consciousness to the truth of these affirmations is that they're expressing not just a quality we want in this world, they're speaking to a higher truth. They're speaking to an eternal, essential that is inherent within the soul. So when we are affirming these realities, when we are affirming I came from God's joy, I am joy, that's a soul reminder to the soul of the state of consciousness. So we start by saying it nice and loud in a strong voice, and then we get quieter and quieter. So we're only repeating it mentally with our attention within the eyebrows, opening up the heart's receptivity. So we hear it on all levels of our consciousness, and we bring it in part of our soul. So you can do this with your eyes open or eyes closed, depending on how you feel. The power of this affirmation for happiness. I vow from today onwards to be happy under every circumstance.
I vow from today onwards to be happy under every circumstance.
I came from God's joy.
I came from God's joy.
I am joy.
I am joy.
I vow from today onwards to be happy under every circumstance. I came from God's joy.
I came from God's joy.
I am joy. We're quietly still for this time. I vow from today onwards to be happy under all circumstances. I came from God's joy. Once more, silently now with deep concentration at the point between the eyebrows. I vow from today onwards to be happy under every circumstance. I came from God's joy. I am joy. I came from God's joy. I am joy. True happiness, joy, bliss is not a state earned, it is God, divine Yogananda is present at the fiber in every circumstance, every thought. Our job is to reach up, to give all of our willpower, our energy, our consciousness, to share. Continues to build one after another. And it's in our meditations as we offer ourselves more fully that we can feel that we're present.
Thank you, Lakshmi. That was another lovely talk this morning. Great energy. More speakers. The program is wrapping up. Just a reminder, we've got the healing hall over here to the lobby. We've got a vendors hall across the plaza. We've got lunch available after this next speaker. I have the plaza as well from Bollywood. I promised that I would. Yes, that I would get more information about. Yes, I will. But next I would like to introduce Michael. He is director of the Ananda South Bay Center. He will be introducing.
Hello everyone, my name is Michael. I have the honorated blessing of from here down. I started with the Ananda South Bay Center about 11 years ago. I was still always and it's enjoying the growth. Some challenges, but in the end, they were all blessings. And at the South Bay Center, we are with classes, we have studies, we have wonderful events. And this identify every member of this office. People ask sometimes, how many members do you have? We already have. Don't define members by or we have a membership. And that, no. Come to our center, remember, yeah. In 10 years, everybody is welcome, everybody is a member. Temple is not a physical place, and for us, it's in freedom is what we all join, what we all share together, and that's what makes us this Ananda movement. And when I was first new, I met a friend, his name is Diane Davis, and I had the honor. I came for such a long time together and interest together. He became a disciple of Paramhansa Yogananda about 50 years ago. And he went to classes and growth and inner growth. And today he is the manager at the Ananda California village. And today he's going to share with us on the topic how to be challenges with courage and confidence from the hands. So we are for the Caribbean Davis, join us.
We're all so hungry, but now we're hungry for God, right? So there's an interesting we're seeking, whether it be happiness, courage, joy, whatever it is, our first inclination is to seek it out there. And all these qualities that we've heard again and again are inherent to soul nature. We have to get out of that consciousness that they're merit. I want to be courageous, so how can I be courageous in this life? I want to be for those opportunities for happiness. But to develop the inner consciousness of the soul. Because everything we're looking for, as he said, Lord, you have made us for thyself. In our heart, and restless, seeking out there our answers. It'll remain restless until we find need. And so I want to start my talk by asking everybody a question here. Do you have a soul? Raise your hand. Okay. I need to inform you that you do not have a soul. You are the soul. You have a body. And your soul has incarnated in this body and has identified to this body, to this personality, to all its imperfections and sensitivities and vulnerabilities, and naturally then themselves in the early days when Yogananda did his ceremonies, just as Yogananda did in the early days. They were called the Joy Rivers. And this is the first time many people, such as Jyotish and Devi, are able to travel with the flying. And they would sleep on the floor, whatever house they were, wherever they were. And so they would wake up with so much energy. Good morning, great soul. And he would look around, like, talking to me. It's a big question to ask ourselves. How often, when we look ourselves in the mirror, do we say, good morning? Good morning, goodness. Good morning, divine courage, divine power that is in tune with all of creation. Good morning. Now we're in this human experience, develop that inner consciousness to establish a purpose. That's our life's purpose. And it's an amazing process because we're all sort of in this identity crisis. We don't really know who we are. We stay young. But I look myself in the mirror and I think, oh, that's young. And the identity crisis really begins when the soul enters the physical body. Because Yoganandaji defines working as the soul that's coming into a physical form and identifying itself with that form. How can we be courageous if we're identified with a creation? How can we be secure when the very reality is so fickle and unstable? It's subject to death. So often, this song about Marley's coming to mind. You're running and you're running and you're running away. You can't run away from yourself. And there's such a consciousness in your culture. You only live. So make the most. And so there's I've done in my past everything I can to avoid those very sensitive, very demanding, ever-present questions of who am I in reality, or what things I made, what's the purpose of my life? Because so long as I'm looking for my answers on this outward stage, I never seem to find what I'm looking for. And that's an interesting thing to remember. So long as we're identifying through the ego, our experiences in life are going to be subject to duality. So one moment we may find ourselves very courageous, then the next moment, very good. I can do this. And we're just constantly on the roller coaster. So I invite us all, whatever we see necessary in our life to develop, look not on the outer state of life, but to remember that it's a state of consciousness that is inherent to who and what you are in truth. All we need to do is be still and know that we are expressions of God, and know that everything we look for is already within. But I mentioned the purpose of life. What is the purpose of life? That's a big question because Michael's purpose might be different than mine. our purpose of life. Every single person on this planet is the same. From joy I came. From joy I came. In joy I live. In sacred joy I melt. Self-realization, realizing that the essence of who we are deep within ourselves. That we are no longer subject to the throes of morality. We are no longer identified with death, the passing scenes of this world. All the triggers that bring about the fear and all the causes that make us feel a lack of courage. We're not accountable. As Sister Yogananda said, it's not the circumstances in our life that matters. It's what we become through those circumstances that does. So when we view life as a whole, and we recognize that life is a struggle, joy is transcendental. We have to transcend our lower nature in order to establish ourselves. The joy remains, we're saying. But it's our consciousness that has turned away from it and habitualized turning away from it